Welcome. I'm so glad to hear that you're interested to see if becoming a home inspector is of interest to you. Maybe you're currently in a field related to home inspections, or this is a big career shift for you. Perhaps you're experienced with owning your own business, or you want to see what that might involve in this industry. You might want to work for yourself or consider being hired by a larger company. There's a lot of items to consider when taking on a career change. Okay, so let's get started. Being a home inspector is active work. That's the reality of it. Actually, it's about a combination of 50-50 being at a desk and being out in the field. But unless you plan on setting up your business in such a way where you are managing others, then you can expect to be very physical with the work that you're going to do. This includes getting up on ladders, getting on high roofs, um, being on a roof that is even higher than 2 floors, depending on the condition of the property that you're inspecting. It's a dirty job. Oftentimes, you're going to have to get through snow-covered bushes or crawl underneath a deck, go into cobwebby or filthy basements. Sometimes you even have to go into crawl spaces, which are very narrow and are full of cobwebs and bugs and mud sometimes, and even dead animals or insects. So it's not for the faint of heart with regard to the cleanliness of the work that you're going to do. Just know that going into it. So if that's not something that you think you're interested in, then it is important that you know that now. Now, keep in mind, in all of those circumstances, you are never going to do anything that you feel is unsafe for you or for a client or anybody. Now, you follow what's called the standards of practice, which is set forth, or SOPs. It's set forth by your trade association. We'll talk about all that later, but these standards of practice basically tell you what you should and should not do on a home inspection. However, what supersedes any of those practices is if it's unsafe. You will ultimately be the arbiter of what is safe to do or not to do on a home inspection based on your comfort level with it. And you would simply, at that point, write in your report, conditions were not safe to enter, to climb, to do, based on what was present at the inspection. So that's it. You simply report on it and you move on. Keep in mind, as with many small business owners, another condition of the industry is how it can be subject to economic factors, such as low housing inventory, recessions, a seller's market, which can shift the favor away from the buyer, creating a condition where the market's so competitive that buyers skip inspections more than they may have usually. Another thing to consider is that you're also going to be responsible to maintain yearly credit hours on top of your workload. They could be taken through online courses or seminars. And eventually you're going to need to pay for a National Home Inspectors Exam, or the NHIE, and any study materials or books that you're going to want to use to prepare for that. And finally, for a while, you'll need to plan on how you're going to transition from your current work to working alongside an inspector colleague at no pay. Even though you're not going to start right away, you're going to have to build up your own tools and the things that you need for your own business, such as report writing software, a camera or cell phone, ladders, quality flashlights, a proper vehicle that can house your tools and your ladder, trade association membership fees that happen yearly, advertising materials such as brochures and business cards, errors and omissions and liability insurance, those kind of things. Now, some of the higher tech tools will come later, depending on what services you want to offer from your business. Okay, so if you're still with me, those are a lot of expenses and things to consider. However, those are primarily set up for those of you who are interested most in starting your own private businesses, whether it's just you, 2 of you, 3 of you, or more. It's more of expenses that you're going to have to cover if you're not hired by a larger firm. If you're hired by a larger firm and you just want to be an inspector for somebody else, a lot of those expenses are either ramped up where you can start slow, or they're going to provide you with things, maybe a ladder, maybe a truck, maybe the attire that you wear. This course is more primarily set up for those of you who, one, want to see if the whole industry is something of value to you or something you even are interested in pursuing, but also more directed towards those of you who are interested in doing it for yourselves or owning your own businesses. So some things may be a little bit different, again, if you're considering being hired by somebody else. However, the essentials are still true, and we're going to cover all of that: how to bring in clientele, how to write reports, how to do a home inspection. You will not become a home inspector by taking this course, but you will learn what you need to do on the outside world to make that happen for yourself. So let's move on to the next lecture.